Hi class, I wanted to give you your video feedback. You've done a great job. So I do want to make sure that you get everything you need to make your revisions for week 4, and that is what your video is for, okay? You want to make sure all of your links are working. Very good. This one is really great. It's really on brand, for one thing. You might need a slight drop shadow behind this to have it show up, but it's not too bad. This, you'll need some space. You'll need to bring that over a little bit, probably reduce some of this space in between. This, you'll want to move over to the far right because that's where people are accustomed to finding it, and that makes that a web standard. So everyone should have their contact at the back. I do hope that everyone is going to watch all of this because that's where you're going to learn a lot of details. I will try to go quickly. You'll notice I'm talking a little fast so that the whole video is not too long for you, but I do want you to watch all of it, all right? And so far, this is really working well. We've got these that are hooked up to Facebook, though these are the not hooked up to the social media that we have available for you, so you might want to do that. The menu, I love that you're sticking with the colors. It looks really good. Let's get rid of this. This is placeholder. And you are able to edit this down a little bit so things align. So you could reword this to where it's just one line, and therefore these rules would line up, and then you can edit and rewrite a little to do that. If you were doing this for an actual client, of course, you would have to get approval for that, but this is for your website, so or as an example. So go ahead and practice best layout practices. Of course, an image would go here, and sides might go at the bottom. That's something to think about. Think about left aligning this because you're so close. These are great images. They still feel like, except for this one, they feel like a truck. It's we want to make sure we avoid glassware because a food truck isn't going to have that. This could be something like fresh limeade, so that this rule comes up. You probably wouldn't have thought to do that, and that's okay. But I'm giving you guys permission to do that for your own site here. Okay, throughout. So it's looking good. It's feeling good. It's operational. This is very good. One of the things you guys can do, if you notice, Monday and Wednesday are the same locations and Tuesday and Thursdays are the same. If you need to, you can group those. This one didn't need to. There's just a little bit of scrolling. This is right here, but this is important info too, so it's okay. Okay, nice, clean, and you want to hook these up, and we only need one set. All right, so make sure everything is centered. Okay. This comes up slowly, although I do like the selection and that you're not using a video. But do change that solid background for this image. You can try and optimize it, but this is a good site. There's very little that needs to be done, just some tweaking, and it will be complete. So really good job on this, Brenda. All right, here's another good one. This sort of competes with the logo, I think, up here, so you might want to put that somewhere else. And this is a little light, but it's working. Change the names of these. Okay, so when we scroll over them, just, also SEO, search engine optimization, they will search, Google will search for names of images, file names. So you could put just, guacamole or Real Deal Taco. All right, so there are those things. The menu is a picture of words, so that needs to be entered text. Otherwise, it's working really well, but you'll need to enter all of that to make it searchable. Nice. And good. Long, but good. Laid out well. This one you need to have a little larger. It's a small, and maybe a little more padding. right? You can go through and edit a little bit if you need to make it work. I feel like there's a little space there, so something may not be needed. Maybe this needs to come up here, and then this is by itself. Okay. It's not bad, but this sort of breaks things up, but it's part of your style, I think. It's almost the same width as this, and those things matter. This is working here, it just doesn't work up here, and you only need it once, so you can put it at the bottom, but here we need to make some choices. All right, but excellent start. You've got everything that you need here, just some tweaks, right, and a little bit more time with it. Good job. All right, I think so. We've got a menu here and home both go to the same page, so I know there's a slight difference. The contact is down here. I would just put that on your single contact page and take this off. I think that would work better for you. And these need to be a little larger. And if you're going to number them, let's do 3 and then 4, 5, 6. All right. So the only use this would have is if you wanted to bullet, that would be different. But with numerical lists, then the only advantage would be if a customer said, I want number 3 or I want number 4. But we've got 2 3s, that kind of thing, 4, and so like 5 or so. So 3s, number 3s. So we need to do something about that. And if you're going to do this, then put it like a number sign, I think, and make it larger to where it's not really a number as much as it's an identifier for the item. Otherwise, change those to bullets and you'll be fine. Make sure you're using, okay. But otherwise, it's very good and fine. Again, just take this off. Less scrolling. You could bring this up a little bit. That would be good, up to here, right? You close a little space out here. This is fine. Probably could go a little bigger since you've given yourself so much space. Okay, and a little bigger. You could come up just some. You are consistent with your headers. That's great. Let's left align this and this. Okay. And I think you're going to need a little header here. And it could be this or it could be events or news. It'll be fine. And left align. This image you're using a couple of times, so just use it once. Left align this. This doesn't go to the page you think. I don't think so. Left align, great that you have these. Let's see about this one. It goes to the location. Okay. So, which is all fine, but I would just remove the link really. But the concept is good. Okay, then your contact page. And again, we have this. I would only have it here and I would give a little space here. And just decide, that's good, you're linked up, just decide where you want to put your social media. All right, terrific job. Okay, so this is a nice way to lay out your type. It looks good, but let's put this on one line so we don't have a word by itself. We want to avoid that. And for just 4 lines, you could have it centered, but typically you're getting on the edge there and you might want to go ahead and make it left align. At least move this or edit this to where this word is not by itself. I like the way you have this. It's kind of discreet, but it's there for anybody who wants it. Your menu is looking good. There is scrolling to get to it, but obviously we're looking at food. I think this could come up a little bit, but it's laid out very nicely. Right? The gluten-free you have here. Nice. I'm not sure I've seen someone do it that way. Okay. You might want to think about how that is laid out, but you know, in that situation, because you've actually done the work, you could remove something to help it be equal on both sides. And you've put this in. Okay. Move the contact over to the right, which looks nice. It's working. I mean, I kind of like that it's in the center, but we do put it to the right as a standard. That's where people are going to look for it. This is good. You might want to bold those, make that a little bigger. And I'm not sure you need this, but I see how you've got things kind of centered. But this needs to come over here. I probably would just take this out. And then, so, okay, you have your contact up here. All right, great job. All right, great image. I think this can be cut down. When we use all caps, it makes it a little difficult to read. So consider that. And if you're going to use it, I would line it here. That would actually reduce your depth here, and that would be okay. And the thing I'm going to say here is the red isn't so much on brand. You could consider a deep orange or a blue would be good. The red, I know, generally comes with the template. Okay. All right. Good. And this, I would remove this background like this. It's we see this sometimes as a style, but it won't last. And what you would do if this is an accident, then you would go in and take the formatting out, and then that would disappear. Go ahead and put just a rectangle over it. This is being lost. Okay, so I would rethink this. With this background, it's a little bit of hard, you know, the contrast just isn't there. Good. You could bold the headers, or make it a little, stand out a little bit. Nice image, very good. And I love that. Okay. Yeah, and you can see this is vibrating against that blue, but you might try something like, you know, a deep orange or something that feels a little more like the brand. I like the red, but maybe it just needs to be a little oranger. Green is also another good color. This is working. We do want to be careful. This could be plastic or paper, so it's okay. We do want to be careful about anything that looks like it might be glass. Nice. Good job, Megan. Very little to be done. All right, this starts well. The images are good, except for the chicken burrito. That's not on the list. But then we start to lose some of the brand a little. We don't have a dine-in, it's just a truck. That's important. And these aren't working. And unfortunately, there's no menu. So it's a good start, but the content is missing. All right, so that's really super important. All right. Really nice. The background does not compete with anything. You've got this block that helps us to read it, just in case there's any question. And you tell us exactly what it is. I love that. This is linked up. And you've chosen a good picture for a parallax scrolling. And I'm going to say a little bit about the same thing here. And you have. I don't think this is the same red, but I think I'd make it just a little bit more like this, a little deeper orange red if you're going to do it, or blue. Like I said, lime is good too. I'm not sure that that's the best case. It could just be a nice deep blue. This is a little hard to read. This will probably need to be larger, okay, or bolder. And I do like this. I do like that this is blue. That was a good choice. And, you know, yellow could be good too. You've got yellow here. This could be yellow. And these could be yellow with a drop shadow a little bit. Or a deep, deep yellow. I wouldn't do a black drop shadow. I'd do more of a gray, dark gray. This, it's hard to read, but, you know, it's okay. It's okay. These are great, great choices for a food truck. And a little hard to read, might make it a little bigger. Could help. It's the font. But, and this, you know, it's just a little light. So we want to make sure that those are a little heavier, whether you change the font throughout, making it consistent, you know, or if we bold something, you know, it loses impact and makes it a little harder to read. All right, but it's a great site, and I look forward to seeing just tiny changes. Okay, this one isn't, you know, you ran out of time. You needed a little more time. It's REE for the name. The logo needs to be here, and you need to enter everything for this one. All right. Same here. It's a nice template, but it is not an interior. It's a food truck, and so that's why we need to make some updates here. It's not a lamb shank. There's no glassware for a food truck, all right, and there's no menu here. So it's a good template, but it needs several more hours to be set aside for this, okay? All right, everybody. I really do love some of the things that you've created, and I'm looking forward to seeing the little finishes week 4, all right? Good work.